Are you sabotaging your success without even realizing it? There is a very big chance you are, because thousands of YouTube creators recently submitted their channels and businesses to be roasted by me on this channel, and after reviewing them, I kept seeing the same expensive mistakes over and over again that were wrecking their sales, like selling courses. So today I'm going to roast 3 creators who applied who are prime examples of these mistakes. I'm going to break down exactly what they're doing wrong, and then I'm going to show you how to fix them so you can actually make money from the views you get. So let's move on to our first contestant. So this is Brad, and he said his problem was he wanted to make more sales. So hopefully I'm going to help him do that. And this is the product he wants to sell more of, which is all about color grading using Final Cut Pro. I think I know what your problem is already. So when we look at Brad's channel, the reason he's not making enough sales is he's got a video about how you can edit faster. He's got one about a gimbal, a light, and he's jumping around between all these different problems. Now, I did look, and you've got a couple of color grading videos from a while ago, but you're not making money because the problem your channel solves is just not clear. It jumps about a load and brings in varied audiences who care about all different kinds of things, which makes growing a channel much harder. But not only that, your product's just not in line with any of these other problems you're talking about either. So the sales are always going to suffer. And really, you have 2 options here. Option 1 is you start making more about color grading, because the more in line your video is with the problem that you solve, the more sales you'll get. And I can pretty much guarantee if you make a video about color grading, even if it flops and you promote it in the first 90 seconds, the middle and the end, you'll make some sales from that video because it's so in line. But really, we need to look at your positioning of your channel and your offer. You're just too all over the place. We need to say to you, what is the problem that your channel solves? There's going to be a deeper reason, and that's the thing we sell to. So what you want to think about is like, what is the first thing they think about in the morning? What's the pain that's driving them to want to know this? The bigger the pain, the more likely you are to sell your product and the more you can charge. So with that in mind, let's go over to your sales page. And the first thing you've done here, which is a mistake, is you've sold a course. Never sell a course. No one wakes up in the morning and goes, you know what, I want to buy it. Course. They wake up in the morning and go, man, if I could edit better, I could get more clients, and then I could make more money, and then I could go on a holiday. And what we need to do is see if we can salvage this by saying, what's the reason your channel exists? So for example, I'm going to say, so the reason they want to learn to color grade, they want to make really slick content that like levels up people's personal brands. So the first thing I look at with this headline is, could we position it as something like, and again, it's not that in line with your channel, but something like stick out faster on social media with HBO quality video. And then maybe instead of your color grading box, which most people won't understand because it's quite an advanced thing, you replace that with a before and after shot. Like, don't show this weird dashboard. No one cares about that. What we want is people to land and instantly go, ooh, that's what I want. And then to see a visual that goes, that's how I want to look, so that they then read the subheadline that's below. So here's your actionable tasks. So the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, what's the problem this actually solves? Because no one's ever going to buy a course. They buy a solution to a problem. And make sure that your page is all about that. The second thing you need to do is make more content that's in line with it. So if you want this to happen to your channel, jump onto my email list, because I'm going to send out the next application form to have your channel roasted. Let's move on to our next contestant. So this is Charlie, and Charlie basically just wants to sell more, but we're going to start off just by looking at his channel, just to establish what is this about, to make sure it's in line with his offer. So same thing, as soon as I land here, I'm like, this is about coffee. Good, that's a great sign. I'm going to go to most popular. What I learned from my failed coffee shop, coffee machines, how to make perfect mocha, perfect steam, how to steam perfect. Okay. Hang on a sec. How many times do you use the word perfect? This is a perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, not that often. Most of your viewed videos have the word perfect in. So, yeah, you need to say the word perfect way more often. Let's jump in and look at the offer. Yeah, well, it's got a German edition. So, the Brew Ledger, a journal that helps you track your espresso and waste fewer beans. Never waste coffee redialing in beans again. What do I get with the Brew Ledger? Beautifully designed espresso dial. High quality materials, espresso techniques and tips. It was going so well. Okay, so first thing, I don't know what a Brew Ledger is. So this is the big mistake. Like the Brew Ledger, like what the hell? We need to set up a result or a big problem that you solve here. And it's quick. It could be this. Never waste coffee redialing in beans again. That could be the main thing. That's the big problem it seems to solve. Let's find out more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play on this video. Let's watch a bit and then see if we can learn some more, because if I'm totally honest, I don't really know what this is. And I got to the bottom of the page and I'm like, it just sounds like it's high quality paper. I don't think that's what you're selling. All right, here we go. It's my coffee jam.
Dialing in espresso is not easy, and if you're like me and you have multiple different coffees at any one time, you might forget what settings you use to dial in that nice sweet Brazilian decaf after you switch to your regular Colombian this morning. So when you guess at the right grinder settings, you mess it up and get a pretty awful espresso. By the time you've dialed the espresso back in, you've almost run out of those yummy coffee beans. Does that sound familiar?
In terms of like a promo video, this is a good start. He's setting up the problem. Let's keep going.
Does that sound familiar? Well, now I've made this book called The Brew Ledger to help you dial in faster, avoid wasting your favorite coffee beans.
Not the highest stakes problem, is it? I'm not sitting there going, oh my gosh, I just spilled a coffee bean on the floor. Get me an ambulance. I think we can maybe work on that. If you're trying to sell something, we want to pump up the stakes, right? Of not having this thing. So let's just keep going.
I've been keeping a notebook a little like this for years, basically ever since I started making videos on my YouTube channel way back when I was living in Japan. If I picked up anything from 10 years living in Japan, it would be the Kaizen philosophy of constant improvement. The layout started as a few column lines drawn in a notebook each week, but adjusting to the machines I've owned.
As the guy who has the sort of $100 coffee machine, I'm out. This is way too deep. My mind's slipping. So if you think about Charlie's audience, it might not be a problem. They might be sitting there going, oh, look at that machine, look at that bean quality. And they're probably loving it. But when you're making a promo video like this, or you're writing a sales copy, you really want to be thinking about making sure you're not going too deep and putting off the target audience. So if he wanted the wider audience, this would be a bad video. But I don't think he does. So it's not bad in that sense. I think it's probably appealing to the right people. Let's keep going.
So here's the main layout. There are 104 pages like this in the book. At the top left, you can put all the info about the coffee beans you're using. It doesn't have to be everything. It's up to you how many of these fields you fill out. You may want to add comments and tasting notes later, so there's space for that too. In the top right, you can note down...
Right, I'm bored. No offense. It started off good and it's getting worse. So you started off with this really simple problem, and now what you're doing is you're kind of overwhelming me with info. No one's waking up in the morning going, my layout of my book's not minimalistic and clean enough. Like, you're selling the wrong thing in your video. Right, so this is 1 minute 24 in. We've spent a minute talking about layout of a page. I'm looking at this going, I can do this in a sheet. I can do this in a Google sheet. Why does it need to be handwritten? Also, I'm clumsy. I'm going to spill coffee on this. Is it waterproof? That's actually a problem I'm concerned about looking at it, because I spill my drink a couple of times a day. Not even exaggerating. I'm going to rewrite your script, and I'm going to then read it out. And maybe I'll get my editors to re-edit it. All right, so before I read out the script, it's about a minute, maybe 90 seconds. Just keep in mind, I've probably taken this a little bit too far, but it'll be up to you to fix this. And I want you to pay attention to what I'm doing differently here, okay? So I'm going to start off. I'm actually going to reuse Charlie's intro. Dialing in espresso is not easy. And if you're anything like me and you have multiple coffees at any one time, you might forget what settings you use to dial in that nice sweet Brazilian decaf after you've switched to your regular Colombian, ruining the taste you crave, wasting your precious beans. However, 10 years ago, I discovered a very simple solution to this, known as the ancient Kaizen philosophy, a mindset of continuous incremental improvements that has shaped everything from world-class manufacturing to the smallest of daily habits. It made me look at my coffee routine in a whole new light. No longer was close enough good enough. I wanted every shot of espresso to be more precise, more flavorful, and ultimately more enjoyable than the last. That's why I created the Brew Ledger. Just like Kaizen's step-by-step process of refining, measuring, and refining again, this notebook guides you towards steady improvement in dialing in your espresso. Every time you brew, you capture details like grind settings, dose, yield, and extraction time. Then you taste and reflect. Did the shot lean towards sourness, bitterness, or was it perfectly balanced? By writing it down, you follow in this ancient tradition. You build a permanent record. It becomes a part of your relaxing coffee routine and means over time, the Brew Ledger turns into your personal roadmap for espresso mastery. So order now and never make anything other than the perfect cup of coffee again. All right. So let's just break down a little bit what's going on. The problem we have is this product can basically be a spreadsheet anyone can make for free. So we need to find a way to pitch it so that it can't do what a spreadsheet can do. We need to make it sound like this is something that can only be done with a pen and paper in a book every morning, and that if you follow these steps, you will always get the perfect cup of coffee. The quality of the paper, the size, what else is in it doesn't matter. We just have to sell that end result in a way that makes this sound more unique than anything else out there. So that's why I kind of latched on. I don't know if the Kaizen philosophy means any of that stuff, but we have to find something that does this. Otherwise, it's a tougher sell. So look, there's lots of other things you can do. I think you've done an amazing job on the channel. I think there's so much possibility in this niche. That's what I'd be thinking about first. Let's do your promo video. Which moves us on to our next contestant. This is Emily, and the question she sent in I can't find, so I'm just going to look at her channel and see if I can spot a problem. But I'm assuming it has something to do with views or growth. But let's go. First things first, land on her channel. Same thing, what's this about? After looking for a little bit, I see, right, you're about binge eating. Let's go and look at the sales page you sent in. How to stop overeating and emotional eating for good without giving up on the food you love or doing another exhausting diet. So that's good, but you call yourself the binge eating coach, and you say here, I'm the binge eating coach, and binge eaters, top video, binge eating, top video, binge eating. And then you say stop overeating and emotional eating. Would you not just be how to stop binge eating without giving up the foods you love or doing another exhausting diet? At the moment, it does work. It makes sense. It's kind of long. And I would say that this is a classic sales page headline. It's get the result that you want without giving up the thing that you hate. Okay, so let's just scroll down the page a bit. Never do this. All you've done is set up this problem. And then you said you can get £1,000 off my thing. Well, they didn't value it yet. You have to build the value with your sales page. The whole point of the sales page is you hook them, you set up the problem they have, you unpack the journey you went on to solve it. You then say, I've built this amazing system. So they're reading, they're scrolling, they see testimonials. And then by the end, they're like, oh my gosh, this thing must be worth $10,000. And you hit them with the price where it's like, and you can get it for $200. So the sales page really has to build people up to make it feel like your product's incredibly valuable so that when they see the price, they're kind of like, sweet. That seems like a great deal. But by just leading by save 1,000, what I'm doing is going, oh, I didn't think this was going to cost that much. How much is it? I'm knocking $1,000 off. I don't know if I'm ready for this. I'm not actually quite sure what this is. I'm going to leave. So, all right. I don't read good. Okay, so I'm 39 in a couple of weeks. My eyes are starting to give in. Well, how old are your clients? And are they dyslexic or do they have ADHD, which a lot of people do, which just makes it harder to read? If that is the case, if you think like even just 10% of your audience of that, don't have loads of different types of fonts and texts and colors. Like I look at that and I literally cannot read this. I would have to copy that onto a bit of paper that was black and read it. So we've got this font style, by this font style, by this font style, by this color, with an emoji. Also, the text is like rammed up to the end, which makes it all feel really cluttered. Just make this black. Keep it all the same font. If you're going to use a headline, that's the headline font you use throughout. You're also kind of mixing a serif font with sans serif. Serif is like traditional print font, which is this. And that was designed for paper. They invented sans serif for screens to be read easier, which is this nice curvy stuff, right? So you stick to sans serif fonts. I would probably just use the same one for the headline and the body because it just makes it easier. A friend of mine, he increased his text size. Conversions went up 700% because he realized his audience were older and they couldn't read it without putting their glasses on. So this is really important but basic stuff. I'm just going to have a quick scroll down. That is one of the best headlines I've seen in 2025. And it's simply this. I've eaten food out of the bin. What? Like, you have grabbed me with that. There's no possible way I'm never going to read that next line. That's such a strong hook. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but that needs to be very, very high. In fact, I would have it up here. We call it your epiphany story, right? It's the transformation you went through, which you're now qualified to teach. And I would bring that section of your page way up because this is your story about your struggle that they're going to relate to. What else? Anything else quick that I can pick up on? Hang on. What? All right. In your channel headline, you have the Daily Mail, GB News, the BBC, MSN, the Daily Mail. Why the hell are they not on your page? The second I saw that, I was like, wow, this woman is a big deal. She is obviously the expert on binge eating. You see those logos, that is the association you make, but it's not here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to redesign the first thing people see when they come on your page to fix a lot of these issues. Give me a minute. I'll be back. Apologies if I don't know enough about binge eating. I don't. It's a sensitive topic, so I need to be careful here. But yeah, I put someone losing weight. I'm assuming you're targeting women. That someone is a female me using AI. Do you know what? I'm a little bit confused right now. Yeah, no. All right, don't go there. So stop emotional eating for good. I cut down your headline for a bit without giving up the food you love or doing another exhausting diet. I've then put a visual representation. If that's the wrong thing, don't do that. But it would be nice to have something on the thumbnail that was a little bit more interesting in your face. No offense. Oh my God, what am I doing? Don't be rude. The other option is have it autoplay. That's what I do on mine. It just kicks in straight away. It doesn't have to make any noise. And then I've just got as featured in BBC. I feel like if that was the first thing someone saw, if I then scrolled down and it said, I used to eat food out of a bin, there's not a chance I'm not reading like the next section of the page because you're ticking all the boxes. Which brings us on to the small amount of people still watching this left. If you got value from this, I have to know in the comments. I've had 1,100 people apply to this, and I'd like to keep doing more of them because for me, this is the highest value video I can possibly make for you. This is what I do with my clients every day, and I see the results of this. But obviously can't do it for thousands of you, but I would love to put at least one of these videos out a month. I just need to know it has value. And what you need to do is you get on my email list because I will email you the form for when I do these next. So if you want to learn more about how to build a channel that makes you a shed ton of cash, you can literally go from $0 to $1 million with this. I know you can because I've flipping done it and I help my clients do it too. Watch this video here. Can't stop looking at female me. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Edminda.